Hi, this is the final venture marketing project for TMC 310, promoting the enterprise. EQ, where human instinct meets AI precision. My name is Michael Kane. I'm from Sacramento, California, and I'm the founder of EQ. A little bit about myself first. I have over 10 years of experience in people management, 8 years of experience working in tech, and about 6 years of experience working for startups. I've successfully led teams and initiatives at large companies like Meta, Square, but most of my experience and my heart is in startups, the startups that I've helped launch and grow. My expertise is in building operations and new product solutions, but my superpower is leadership. I've worked my way up into a management role in every job that I've ever worked with. I've been a leader for small startups and large companies, and even back to my humble beginnings of working in kitchens and restaurants. I love being a leader to my peers and to the people that I work with. Why do I want to be a founder and why do I want to launch EQ? Well, at 20 years old, I lost my stepfather to cancer. At 22, I lost my grandfather, my only living grandfather. And then at 25, I suddenly lost my father. I was young, felt lost, and didn't have the leadership and community I was suddenly counting on. I dropped out of college, moved back home to help my mother with my three younger brothers. And then suddenly, I was introduced to startups and I simply fell in love. It was a privileged opportunity that saved my life. My goal now is to be a founder of a startup called EQ and create a product that gives back to the same community that helped me. And startups are my community. Through my experience, I've learned directly from founders, CEOs, coaches, team leaders. I learned about the commitment, the effort, the determination that it takes to make it. I learned how to get things done. I learned about my strengths and I learned about my weaknesses. And I'm especially thankful because it was through those same opportunities I've been able to go back to school at Arizona State and earn a degree in tech entrepreneurship and management. At each one of the startups I mentioned, I've been employee number 12, 23, 2, and now I'm ready to be the number one guy. I'm in a place in my career where I've grown personally and professionally, and I've aspired and I feel inspired and I want to build something I love in a part of my life that I love and use what I've learned to give back to my community with EQ. So first, I want to talk about an unmet need that we have. The startup community lacks a simple and reliable method for assessing personal strengths and weaknesses, period. And startup CEOs, founders, and coaches rely on understanding those strengths and weaknesses to better coach the startups that they build and grow with. Most popular assessments take too long and take too much effort. They straight up can be annoying and exhausting. A lot of the popular assessments have been debunked, whether it's Myers-Briggs or Clifton Strengths, and most of them only measure a single moment in time. And then many of the popular assessments do not even offer actionable recommendations, and most do not even predict or even attempt to predict a startup success. Now, looking at our solution, what we want to build is an AI-driven solution where we capture performance reviews, feedback from others, kudos even, pulse surveys that the company gives out, post-meeting surveys that employees can fill out, take Google data, Slack data, HR tool data, all through webhooks and integrations. Take HR, OKR, and financial data from the company, private data, team building data that already exist, and then use other integrations with tools like Crunchbase, Salesforce, and social media apps, all of which can be automatically captured using new AI tooling, whether it's automatic web note taking, automatic speech recognition, and capture those into an individually stored data where we then use machine learning to analyze the data and then take that, reformat that data into a friendly user-friendly interface that the customer can get via either a simple email, a follow-up every day, weekly, monthly, depending on the preference, or just fed into a user-friendly dashboard, which gives you percentages around engagement, percentages around predicted success, and again, recommended actionable insights that you can use to then adjust the way you lead your meetings, adjust the ways you plan OKRs, or even adjust the way you're building and growing your company altogether. Now, when we talk about the existing solutions to something like this, they are really driven up into three different type of categories. First is diagnostics. They're really used to assess and identify user strengths, and users rely on executive coaching, venture capital mentorship, performance engagement products, or different third-party assessments. All of those assessments are different and they're separate. They're all based on user submissions, and all of them, like I said before, only reflect a single moment in time. It really limits their long-term effectiveness. They are costly and expensive. Actionability solutions, founders and coaching rely on really assess and determine actionable steps they can take to make those strengths and address those strengths and weaknesses. Current solutions are really driven around HR and recruiting focused, really focus on hiring or just performance management from an HR lens. Many of those solutions provide analysis. Some of them provide some action items, but few of them can make deeply specific recommendations based on the results and help aim you towards success. And the last part is predictability solutions. To be honest, no market solutions exist. Founders, VCs, executive coaches often rely on a combination of third-party assessments that we've talked about, different CRMs or customer retention management tools, and just personal expertise to assess a founder's and predict a founder's success in their startup. Very few have created a solution to create a ranked sort of scoring or an overall rating, and none of these solutions have been able to predict a startup success. So much money, time, and effort has been lost trying to coach, mentor, or fix problems that could have been predicted early on. When we look at the sort of red blue ocean strategy, I've really changed it to a matrix across challengers, the niche players, leaders, and visionaries. I think it's a good way to sort of analyze what type of users or solutions exist now and what we should be considering them long term. When we look at the challengers, there's companies like Lattice, and despite their proven track record of delivering people management solutions, they really lack any sort of the predictive capabilities that we've talked about. But they do show some innovative vision towards the future. Culture Amp, similar to Lattice, despite their proven track record, their focus is on performance management, engagement, HR types of tooling, management type of tooling, but they don't predict success and don't try to predict success. Niche players like Hogan Assessments or Tiny Pulse, they offer personality assessments, leadership development tools. It's really driven around coaching, personality, types of leaders, and types of working styles. They focus on a smaller segment of the market, and they haven't really shown the vision or execution capabilities of a new, exciting AI-driven technology. The leaders in the area, I really called out Predictive Index. They have a really robust suite of assessments, software, and workshops, both really demonstrating both the ability to execute on a comprehensive vision, but they're still, again, really focused on hiring individuals at the top of the funnel, and they really don't make an attempt to predict any success. Qualtrics is a leader in the area because the amount of data that they have across the marketplace, especially the tech sector, with a wide range of tools. They magnify on different aspects of the experience, and they clearly understand the market, but they're focused on data access and analysis and don't provide any actionable insights or next steps or predictability that users are looking for. And then the visionaries in the space, that's us, EQ. Despite not even being a real company yet, EQ will have a unique approach to assessing startups using AI and machine learning technologies. We'll use predictive analytics, continuous assessments, and a completeness of all the assessments of all of these different types of companies capture, but put them into a succinct, easy to understand tool. And we will set the standard for measuring and predicting a startup's or leader's success. If we look at the final projection, we have fixed costs that is really engineering, overhead, and mostly into product development and marketing. the assumption given that we'll have 10,000 users at least to start and build up towards those users. We have that variable cost baked in, and that really gets us to a break-even price of $30. Based on some customer user interviews, based on some analysis of our competitors, we believe that a 40% markup is fair, around $12, but rounding that up to a price of $45 for the individual user, $300 for the enterprise user. Factors that really went into this is like the perceived value of AI-driven insights. Very popular, very sexy, and all customers right now are being assigned to find out ways to integrate AI solutions into their current products. The continuous assessments helps drive down cost for users. Instead of having to sign up for Myers-Briggs every year or so, spending thousands of dollars, this would be a continuous tool that helps you collect that without the extra effort. It's autonomous, and it's really comprehensive of all those things. So even if you still decide to do those Myers-Briggs or other assessment tooling, you can actually plug that into the tool and have that give you a deeper understanding. The final price for EQ I mentioned is $45. This balances that cost plus the competition-based strategies while staying below the customer-based ceiling. Now, when we plug this into financial projections, what can we expect? Given those assumptions, we'll spend the first 3 months of focusing on marketing and customer acquisition. Focus on getting our first 1,000 users. We can expect a $42,000 in revenue. When we march towards those 6 months, we'll intensify marketing efforts and focus our efforts on customer retention, keeping those original 3,000 users, and ideally tripling that in the following 3 months, increasing our revenue with an additional $72,000. At 9 months, we're going to optimize the product, collect feedback, fix it in a way where customers are still feel compelled to use it and share it with their friends. We want to add another 3,000 users. That will add another $24,000 in revenue. And really, if all goes well, month 12 is where we expect to have that payback period where we've reached the break-even price. We'll expand our customer base. We'll consider diversifying our product offerings and reach a total revenue of $126,000. That initial engineering cost plus the variable cost gets us to where we're making a profit. What I thought would be interesting is to look at the unit economics and that customer acquisition cost, or the CAC. When we look at the B2C, those individual users, those individual founders, coaches, and venture capitalists, the leaders of those companies, the customer acquisition is high on an individual basis, but it can really be optimized with the help of our B2B sales. So when we start selling enterprise customers like VC firms and huge coaching or executive coaching firms, that will help us gain more individual customers and expand our base, basically having some affiliate type marketing where we see that payoff for investors, we see that payoff for coaches, and they're the ones who are telling their customers, telling the startups that they work with, the leaders that they work with, the entrepreneurs that they work with, that they need to sign up and use this tool. Assuming that we aim for those 10,000 users in the first year, it's a rough estimate, but we can really expect to start paying back that initial for individuals, that the cost of acquisition by 35 months. If we optimize and get a leadership team of not just the CEO, but their CFO, COO, any main leaderships across their company, which is an average of 5 per startup, that customer acquisition cost gets driven down almost 3 or 4 times, just 7 months. And then when we do it on a B2B basis, that's really when it's paying off well, where that customer acquisition cost for a single enterprise customer is only a couple of months. These customer acquisition costs were, again, based on user interviews, and there's some benchmarks that you can see across the research in the marketplace. So our target market, we want to meet that startup community, and that startup community is primarily composed of founders, investors, and coaches. Entrepreneurs, those founders and CEOs, are often like Olympic athletes. They're already skilled and talented and determined, but they're looking for any edge that can make them even better. It takes a big investment and willingness for an entrepreneur to identify and understand their individual collective strengths and weaknesses to build something measurable and act on something in a intentional way. Investors know that investing in a startup is always risky, and they often have to value and they often really value and emphasize an entrepreneur's personality, those strengths and weaknesses, when determining if they should even invest in a startup. Most often, investors can only rely on their own experience, and they use instinct to ensure their investment is successful. This happens not within the point of the initial investment, not only within the point of the initial investment, but within the entire mentorship life cycle working with that startup. Executive coaches, this takes a big investment on this problem takes a big investment on executive coaches to do similar things as a investor, where they try to diagnose and understand where a startup needs coaching, but some of those investments are lost by the coaches and they don't work out as expected. Executive coaches, again, similar to investors, can only really rely on their experience and their gut instinct to make a relationship successful. And so our target market is trying to reach those CEOs, CTOs, investors, executive coaches, and give them a tool that they all rely on and can simplify and really quantify, bring their gut instinct to life. Our branding solution, our tagline: empower, evolve, excel. The name EQ stands for emotional quotient. It really highlights the tool's unique approach to understanding a startup and a business's deeper on a more human level. It really encapsulates the essence of the tool, empowering business with insights, helping them evolve and ultimately excel in their endeavors. The brand identity positions EQ as cutting edge, intelligent, and growth-focused tool with predictive analytics in a marketplace that really values and demands those types of tooling. We'll want to meet our customers where they're at. LinkedIn, use LinkedIn as a platform for professional startups and businesses where they interact, and we can target our marketing there. TechCrunch, it's a leading industry news website where startups can gather news and hear about this. EQ would be highly relevant to this audience. Forbes, Harvard Business Reviews, we'd want to be there in the same way, create some more stability in the insights that we offer, attract new customers, and then be on the forums and websites that these same entrepreneurs, investors are, whether it's Startup Grind, Growth Hackers, etc. And then really working with Google to display our marketing across use search engine optimization to be able to put our marketing up front where our market is. Here are a couple examples of what some of the advertising would look at. Simple, clear, sleek, where you can see it on Instagram on the left, really driving curiosity with the brain logo, and then focusing on results, focusing on actionability, focusing on predictability, and making it a simple solution. On the right is more of an advertisement that we could share in different types of mobile and online ads, offering discounts, really with a strong call to action. And again, intriguing users with that logo and focusing on the new popular thing, AI. So thank you for listening to my pitch on EQ. I hope you are as excited as I am to launch something that we feel could give back to the startup community, help everybody grow, and ultimately become the leader in predictive, comprehensive analysis that helps individuals and teams grow together. Thank you.